Welcome to Meet the Ocean. I'm your host, Paul North, a.k.a. he who shivers so that you don't have to. But today, there will be no shivering. No. For today, we journey down under once more to the land of Australia to talk about one of the longest, perhaps not leanest, but often the greenest apex predator in that part of the world. Not so long ago, Meet the Ocean brought our Antarctic education tour to Australia. Our team of marine educators visited children's hospitals and classrooms in Brisbane and Sydney. And to those who hosted and helped our outreach to the youth, we thank you. And if you could please tell the octopus that tried to steal my camera that I'll be back. Now, I am hesitant to admit this, truly, but there are some creatures that I just don't wish to be in the water with. Call me a coward if you must. And I'll give you the top 3, but in no particular order. Number 1, Humboldt Squid. Lovely, sleek, and able to pierce through medieval chainmail armor. Dun, dun, dun. Wait. Can we get a little bit more of a threat here, sound team? I'm trying to make myself look cool here. Bum, bum, bum. Now we're talking. Number 2, Walrus. I know you're surprised. I am too. But they're big and they're grumpy. And last, the very creature that this podcast is about, the saltwater crocodile. Now, to be clear, I do not fear the saltwater crocodile. And neither should you. Fear causes humans to act badly. But I do respect these creatures, not just for their power, but for their role in the ecosystem. They are clever, long-lived, and spread out across a significant portion of our planet. This and more makes them fascinating to behold. And to increase these fascinations, you are soon to hear from those who choose to care for these reptilian wonders, while educating on how we can continue to coexist together. Meet the Ocean is a listener-supported nonprofit podcast. The story of our planet is a story we share. You can always find more podcasts, underwater creatures, and ways to donate on our website, meettheocean.org. And now, for naturalist, photographer, and protector of reptiles, Aaron Britton.
Hi, my name is Aaron Britton, and this is Meet the Ocean's Encounters. So, we are talking today about crocodiles. My background is, I come from the Northern Territory in Australia, and it's a pretty wild place. There's not very many people, which I like, and there's lots of wilderness. And we also have a lot of animals, and the saltwater crocodile is the big apex predator in this neck of the woods. And for some reason, I ended up studying crocodiles, and I work with crocodiles, mainly working with management, because crocodiles tend to have like eating people occasionally, so that makes them sort of unpopular in places and also attracts a lot of attention. So it's a delicate balance conserving an animal that is so dangerous, but by educating people of things you do and things you don't do, you can actually live quite happily with a really amazing creature that is a saltwater crocodile. We also have some crocodiles on our place where we live, and that's usually the most questions I get asked is how do you have a saltwater crocodile as a pet? And I tell people that crocodiles, you don't really make pets. There's not something that you can pat like your puppy dog or something that you may, or a pet cat. But they live behind a fence. Fence is about 1.8 meters tall. It's a mesh fence. And it's designed to keep people out rather than the crocodile in, because the crocodile has his home in a purpose-built pond. And that pond is a couple of meters deep, and it's about 8 by 6 meters. And he's very happy there, and he lives with his wife, Esther. And they're both a retired pair who used to live at the crocodile farm nearby, and now they live at our place. And they get fed occasionally. We get these chickens from old poultry farms. So occasionally he gets a chicken once a week. Crocodiles eat less than I do. As long as the water there's no leaks in the pond, there's no trees that fall on the fence, it's pretty low maintenance keeping crocodiles as pets. Like I mentioned, I'm not sure how I ended up working on crocodiles, but I think it was the most fun thing to do whilst I was at university, which, other than trying to finish writing your assignments and papers, was actually to go out and work on this research project in the field. And that meant a lot of late nights, drinking lots of coffee and catching crocodiles till 3 o'clock in the morning. So that was a lot of fun. And after a few months of doing that, I really got addicted to this kind of lifestyle and field work that I ended up working with crocodiles. And some of the work I've done over the years is also working with as a wildlife ranger in the Northern Territory and actually catching big crocodiles that ended up in the wrong place or become a real danger to people in urban areas. And I sort of travel a little bit too, which is fortunate for me. So having a job working on crocodiles is very unique. It's very different, and it has been a lot of fun. The crocodiles I have on my property, Smorg and Esther, and they are, like I mentioned, were previously in captivity for some years. And Smorg was actually caught from the wild, and he's probably about in his 60s. And crocodiles actually live as long as people do. And because they live as long as people do, we're still finding out just how long some of them live, because there's not many that have sort of outlived the researchers, I suppose. So, yeah, Smorg is actually just under 16 feet in length. He's a very big saltwater crocodile. He's probably not likely to grow much larger than that. Crocodiles, just like people, they grow mostly when they're very young, and then they sort of max out size. When they reach a mature size, they actually have very robust, strong jaws, and that allows them to take down larger prey items. And misconception about crocodiles is that they are actually freshwater animals, but the saltwater crocodile can tolerate salt water, and that allows them to actually colonize new areas, and they can move around the coast and move out to sea between islands, and that's allowed them to spread in a very large range from the coast of India all the way across to the Solomon Islands, and including northern parts of Australia. Working with saltwater crocodiles, I mentioned we work with a lot with management of crocodiles. And generally, in Australia, we have a very good education program. People know a lot about crocodiles. They know where crocodiles are, and they know that most of the time don't do silly things and you'll stay safe. But in a lot of countries where the saltwater crocodile lives, overseas in Southeast Asia, there's a lot of urban areas where crocodiles are actually increasing. Their ranges, where they used to be, they're actually coming back into those regions, and the numbers are increasing. And a lot of people don't have access to the education that we have in Australia. They don't understand that we know that the crocodiles are coming into these regions. Their livelihoods really depend on the ocean and the water, and that can put them at risk. And crocodiles can move into new areas completely undetected without being seen. So a lot of what we are trying to do is actually expand these education programs, expand the information that can be accessible to people throughout this range and also to train actual ranger groups, to train people with the capacity to actually monitor crocodiles, to actually survey, and to actually educate more people about the risks of interacting at the water's edge where there could be crocodiles. So essentially what we're trying to do is actually save lives. The only way to conserve a dangerous animal like the saltwater crocodile is to save people as well.
Meet the Ocean is produced by Paul North and Andrew Gettings, with sound design by Kelsey Anderson and music by Vin Gast. Special thanks to naturalist Erin Britton for sharing her story. And you can find out more about these saltwater crocodiles by listening to the Croc Log podcast, which is hosted by Aaron's husband, Adam Britton. Meet the Ocean is a listener-supported nonprofit podcast. The story of our planet is a story we share. You can always find more podcasts, underwater creatures, and ways to donate to our educational outreach on our website, meettheocean.org. Until next time, may the saltwater be with you.
Can we save the ocean from the sun?